So you can hear me okay? All right. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us on February 2nd. I'm wondering, and maybe that's true, that the poll that Julia's putting up might have something to do with this crazy day we have in our around our country related to that crazy little groundhog. So it's sunny here where I am, and it was sunny at the St. Louis Zoo, so that, at least for me, I'm pretty sure we get 6 more weeks of winter.
Yeah.
I didn't check the zoo website. Is that true?
I think so.
Okay.
And I'm sorry that I guess I clicked into another messenger and it logged me on, so it won't let me do the poll.
Okay. Well, if you want to just add to the chat box whether are you having a cloudy day or a sunny day, we'll know whether you're going to have 6 more weeks of winter too. But I don't think it should be a surprise. I think it's just a big tease, the whole thing. Okay, sorry, I wanted to mute my phone. Okay, so we have a couple of things we want to talk about today. The first thing that we try to take care of is a review of our board meeting, and we'll definitely get to that soon. I also want to cover just a little reminder about our Members Matter meetings. The next one coming up, a little bit about some advocacy events that you may want to participate in your neighborhood, and reminders about certification and other activities you may want to participate in. So let's get started. Does anybody have any questions first before we get going? Okay, and Susan is also going to jump in near the end because we're doing things a little bit differently in delivery. Not bad, they're good. And so she's going to tell you some more enhancements, I guess, that we've got available in delivery. Our board met on January 24th. It was only last Tuesday, but it's already February. The first thing on our agenda was a recognition of one of our longtime board members. His name is Jim Fenton. He is a public library trustee from the Carlinville Public Library. I don't know if Janet's on yet. I know she was on the list to attend. He's the president of the Carlinville Public Library. He has been on library system boards since 1982. There's a restriction in the Library System Act, actually, that states that a library system board member can serve 2 consecutive terms. The terms are 3 years each, so they can serve a total of 6 years continuously. Then they have to wait 2 years before trying to get on a board again. So he's pretty much done that. And ever since 1982, he's been on or off boards, and he's spent basically since 1982, about 18, 19 years on system boards in that time period. That's pretty impressive. And he was on the Lewis and Clark Library System Board, and then very recently he just had to step down from the Eleanor Heartland Library System Board. That in itself is a big deal. The bigger deal is that, and I hope I get this right if Janet's there, and she'll have to, there's Janet, she's already said it. So he stepped on their board in 1974. Beginning in 1978, he became their board president, and he's been that ever since. So he's a pretty big deal in the library world. Doesn't say a lot, but when he speaks, he has a lot to say. So, and he's well heard. So woohoo for him. And we're all better for having him involved at the system level, definitely. And I'm sure Janet could attest to the same thing. So woohoo. The next thing, the board approved the bills, and they reviewed and they accepted the financial reports. We are now, we were at that meeting anyway, we had financial reports halfway through the fiscal year. We are halfway through the fiscal year. However, the funding we received from the Area Per Capita Grant, and again, it's a reduced amount for this fiscal year, 2 years in a row, we're about 1/3. We received about 1/3 of the funding we should be receiving, of that $1.9 million allotment due to the reduction. So we're moving along, hoping for funding to arrive soon, and but we're okay. We have reserve funds to get us through this year, and that's where we are. The board also discussed two things, well, several things actually. One of the things they had was a report from their nominating committee, and if you didn't see our email yesterday, and you'll see this again, we have every year in the spring we have a vote for available positions on our board. Because we have a 15-member board, there are 5 positions open every year, and they rotate. So yesterday there was a post that went out that we were looking for folks to nominate others or self-nominate, and the following positions will be open, and the voting will begin, I believe, in March, correct, Julia? It is March. I'm hoping she'll shake her head yes. Yes, okay. There's the academic library position on our board is open. The school library position on our board will be open. One school library, we have 3 school library positions open on our board. The special library position is open, and we have 2 public library trustee positions that are open. Neither of those public library trustee positions are the one that is currently being held by Jim Fenton, because he had just started his second 3-year term. So if you know of anybody that's interested in serving on our board, we encourage them to take a look at that. Please forward that message to them. That just went out via announce. That survey will be up for a little bit, and that committee will be looking very closely at who's out there and who would be interested in serving, or if you yourself are interested, please fill out the survey. There's also contact information in that message for committee members, and they'd be happy to answer any questions you have regarding participation in our board. We're really looking forward to a really good ballot of interesting folks to serve on our board coming forward. So that was one significant thing that happened at our board. The next thing was the board did approve a revision of their bylaws, and this has to do with membership engagement. Specifically, when we began as an organization, we had a mechanism for members to interact with staff that was different than board meetings. The board meetings are formal governance of the organization. We started with a committee, a group that we called the Librarians Advisory Council, and then it had a more jazzy kind of name along down the road. That organization didn't work the way we intended it to, and so we came up with a new process, and that's Members Matter. And we started that in July. We are currently meeting every 2 months. And just so you know, the next meeting is March the 7th. The primary physical location is the Marion Carnegie Library. It'll begin at 10 a.m. and it will also be available at all of our usual VTEL locations. And you can sign up in L2, and I'm sure you'll be seeing that soon on our website. The ones after that are May the 2nd, and that will be at the Olney Public Library. If you're able to attend there, we'll have system staff there, and that's from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. And then the next one, which will be the first one of fiscal year 18, will be July 11th from 10 to 12 at the Decatur Public Library. And we've not yet set dates for the ones after that, but I suspect we'll be doing it soon because it's a very popular activity, and it's a good networking opportunity for all of us, especially our staff. We really love that. Anyway, so the changes in the bylaws had to do with removing that language that referred to the Librarians Advisory Council and using this other vehicle to meet, this other communication and networking opportunity to meet with our members. That will be posted on our website as an update to our bylaws as soon as we can get to that. It will, now that the board has approved it, it will also be shared with the state library because according to the Library System Act and the administrative rules, once a board approves a policy or a change in a policy, it goes to the state library for concurrence. So that's the last step in the process. Any questions? Okay. Moving forward, I want you to know that the Illinois Heartland Library System did, at the beginning of January, sign a contract with the Reaching Across Illinois Library System, RAILS, for, we are working with them for delivery to academic libraries or CARLI members, and that's known as the Illinois Library Delivery Service, or its acronym, because we love acronyms, is ILDS. And so we have been working in agreement, but without a contract up until then. And now we have a contract, and that contract is in effect through June 30th, 2018. And then we have opportunities for renewal of that contract for the next 3 years after that. So we're really happy, and I'm sure our colleagues at RAILS are also very happy to have that, all of that resolved. And now we can look forward to further collaboration with our friends at RAILS. The board also received a copy of an opinion from the Attorney General's office regarding how we proceed with just a confirmation of how the system proceeds regarding hiring staff, how we proceed with discipline and when that is an issue, and how staff are let go if there's there needs to be a separation. And if you're if you're interested in any of these documents that are ever presented to our board as a board packet, they're all available on our website under board, which should be under about. I believe that's the tab. It's the first tab to the right on the left. Well, going to the right is the first one. So you can see all those documents. They're always posted and they're available. So if you're interested in information regarding that opinion in more detail, you can find it there. The board also considered 3 proposed changes to our personnel code, and they are they were approved. The changes had to do with overtime, bonus time, and compensation. The overtime applies to our operations staff, and how on 2 specific holidays when they are system holidays, and because of our contract with RAILS for ILDS delivery, we have staff who are going to be having to work on holidays, and the compensation that we wanted to offer to them, that was approved. The second has to do with bonus time and how we will compensate, how we will track the bonus time internally. And the third has to do with health insurance, and that's to keep our personnel code in compliance with the Affordable Care Act. All right. The board also considered a proposed endorsements and sponsorship policy. That will be posted to our board as soon as we can get that posted, and we hope to have it posted by the end of this week. It's to go out to our members for comment, and then it will go back to our board for any additional tweaking, consideration of member comments, and then the board will decide how it wants, where it will go with that document. All right. Another thing on our agenda, because it was a pretty busy meeting, the board also looked at draft membership standards that were proposed by the RAILS library system. That their system has been working on membership standards, if you have not heard, for just about 2 years now. When we all were involved in the merger process, and this is like 6 years ago, almost exactly now, there was some, those of us that were involved in those mergers, whether we were in the 4 southern systems or they were in the 5 northern systems, we weren't really sure which of our independent or individual library system, regional library system standards for membership we were going to use. And it was determined, and rightly so by the state library, that we would accept, that we would be using the standards as they are available in the administrative rules. And those are straightforward. There is concern among some members in our state, some member libraries in our state, that they may be minimal. However, we also are aware that we have member libraries that struggle to meet membership levels. And we know that because every year in the spring, there are libraries who we have to recommend, who we are recommending to our board for suspension because they can't meet those membership requirements. So while they are minimal, they're not applying to every library. They don't even apply to every library in our system, nor in Rails. So it's a good and a bad thing, those standards. So anyway, Rails has put forward these standards. They've been working on them with the committee for a long time, and they've had some feedback from their members. They've tweaked them. And the version that was shared with our board, again, you can find a link to that through our board packet on our website. What we did was share them with our board members just so our board members could take a look at them and give any feedback. That's as far as it's gone at the board level. I know we've got, looks like we had Sandy in our meeting now. We definitely have Sarah in our board meeting. Sarah, are you able to speak up? Or do you want to say anything about those standards and what the conversation was?
I read the standards a couple different times, and I think my concern is the fact that they won't help a lot of our libraries. In fact, they're a lot more stringent than our current ones and what I think some of our libraries can deal with. So I really was not too impressed with their membership, and I think they're going to be hurting a lot of small libraries, and that's my biggest concern within both systems is the little tiny libraries that are one-person staff, and there's no way that those libraries can meet the standards put forth. So that's my concern.
Thank you. And that was a common thread through our conversation at that board meeting. And I wasn't really putting you on the spot, and you did a great job. So thank you. And at this point, like I said, we're not going any further. We have not at Illinois Heartland initiated we've not started looking at proposed standards for Illinois Heartland Library System. And in fact, almost 2 years ago, when Rails was beginning that process for themselves, they directed a question toward our board about whether or not we would like to formally engage with them on that standards process. And the formal response from our board in June of 2015 was, we're happy that you're doing this. It can be a really good idea. However, at this time, Illinois Heartland Library System can't engage. And we are going to instead focus on our members and helping them get up to and maintain the minimum level of that level of membership that we currently have, and that's what's in the administrative rules. And that again is what member libraries attest to during the certification process. And by the way, have you gone through the certification process this year? Just a little tag for that, because that's also on my agenda. If you haven't heard from Ellen Poppet in the last couple weeks, you're probably doing great. You might have already completed that process. You have until the end of March to go through that process. And just a little reminder that there is the interlibrary loan traffic survey that has to be completed as part of that certification. So always want to put a plug in for that. And our members are doing really well. We're over 50% of our members have completed. And that's a testament to our membership staff at both library systems and at the state library. We're kind of fine-tuning that process over the years, and all of you, because you're doing a great job in getting your reports completed and complying with that. It makes it a lot easier for everybody. Okay, let's see. That was pretty much the gist of our board meeting. A couple other things I'd like to share with you and just remind you, there are some opportunities for advocacy in your area. The ones that are coming up are sponsored by the Illinois Library Association, and these are what are called legislative meetups. You're not required to be a member of ILA to attend these. These are opportunities where legislators are invited in your service, in your area, your region, are invited. We will send out, Julia, I don't know, if you can get a link up on the chat or not. However, there are some that are in our service area, and again, they're growing, which is great. So on Monday, February 27th, there is a new session has been scheduled this year, and it's in Mount Vernon, Illinois, and it's a breakfast. No, it's a lunch, I'm sorry. So Monday, February 27th, in Mount Vernon, and it's at the Holiday Inn. So there'll be a luncheon there. We really hope that that's convenient for some of our members in the southern part of our service area. In the northern part of our service area, there is one on Friday, March 3rd, a lunch as well, and that's going to be held at the Bloomington Normal Marriott Hotel. Last year was the first year for that area to have a lunch or a legislative get-together. Again, that's March 3rd. That's a luncheon. And the same day, but for breakfast, there will be one at the Sunset Hills Country Club in Edwardsville. That's what's called the Metro East Library Legislative Breakfast. And it's due to our members' advocacy efforts in our service area that we've got more opportunities to interact with legislators and or their staff representatives, that we have these newer opportunities. The one in Bloomington Normal, which for some of our members is what, 20 minutes away, 30 minutes away from their libraries. So it is very convenient for our northernmost member libraries. And the one in Southern Illinois is a welcome addition, is very welcome indeed. So we hope that you'll be able to attend those, and Julia just put up a link. She's wonderful. She's got it already. So that's a little about that. We also want to remind you that there's another opportunity coming up for continuing education. That is Reaching Forward South. It will be held April 7th this year, and it will be located at Eastern Illinois University. You can find out more information at their website, and I'm sure Julia will be putting that up. And we will be sending out information very soon, and save the date, details regarding our IHLS Member Day. Okay, any questions? Okay, I'm trying to keep to our half-hour time limit. Okay, so I think Susan Palmer's still with us somewhere.
Yes, I am. I'm right here. Good morning.
Good morning. You want to give us a little update on a couple things with delivery?
Sure. And I may have added a bit to my list, but I'll be brief. One is that watch for a delivery survey again. It should be up towards the end of next week. That will run for 2 weeks. That's again just evaluating the service. We have made a lot of changes. Some of those changes were in response to the other delivery survey that we had put out last year. So I encourage everyone to go on and give us feedback. You know, we can't change things if we don't know what's going on, and we love praise too. So if you have some praise, we eat that up as well. So that's coming up at the end of next week. That will be out. I'm sure there'll be lots of links to it. The other thing that I was going to touch briefly on is dogs. That is delivery on the go. We have implemented that again. And what that is when a library after you on the route, that same day after you on the route, the only people who are free from this is really, I guess, that last library on the route. They don't have an opportunity to do a dog because there's nobody else after them. So what that is that you would say a library comes after you, package those items separately, put them on top of the tub so that the driver is alerted that that's kind of the same day. We are going to try our best to get it there that very same day after you on that route. The routes should be up to date. And when I say should be, I appreciate everyone going out there and looking to see. We feel as though we have now corrected any route that was on the website. There were some that we were made aware that perhaps it wasn't as accurate. And that's what we're going by. That's what our drivers are going to be driving, are the routes that are on the website currently. So that's the dog thing. Does anyone have any questions about dogs? I'm looking for doggy bags. Just kidding. So we have that going on. And then we have iPads on the road now. This is a huge deal for us. We have had the fortune of having someone on staff who is fabulous and has made an app for these iPads. What this does is that it reduces IHLS's costs in inputting the data that we need in order to supply statistics and things to the state library for ourselves, for evaluations of our delivery service. We no longer are going to have the paper where somebody, when it's brought back, has to re-input that into another database just to have it. So these iPads have are streamlining our operations. And that segues into something else that we'd be using the iPads for. Is we're going to start a new kind of campaign type thing. We are still looking for a really catchy title. On the Road with IHLS has been suggested. This is where these drivers, and they may not have been completely informed of this, like officially. However, they're going to be taking photos at your library of unique things, unique architecture. Maybe you have a really cool horse's head sculpture out front. And those photos are going to be put up on our MFT, Moving Forward Together, and on our website for librarians to guess where that's coming from. Prior to us putting that photo up, we will contact the library that we're going to put that photo up of. This is not of people. It's just items that are in your library. There are so many cool libraries that we have, and we'd like to highlight those. So I guess my what I was hoping is that as librarians, you would think of really interesting facts about your library, because that would be the clue. You know, we'll have the photo, and then we'll have, like, you know, Abraham Lincoln borrowed his first book here. Or whatever, you know, whatever the neat thing is about your library. And I'm sure you all know something really cool historically or whatever you feel is unique about your library, and share that. That would be the clue. And then that way, when that goes up, we'll have an opportunity for librarians to guess what library it is. And the librarians who have the correct response will go into a hat, or, you know, their name will go off to the side that you had a correct guess. And then every month we will draw one name out of that hat, and they will receive a fabulous fragile prize. You know, who knows what's coming down the road with that. We have some ideas, we have some things that we've gotten, and so we'll put a prize with that. So once a month, the winning librarian will get that, and we'll feature that as well. You know, just a way to, you know, we need to bring some fun into our lives. And we need to bring some more education about the really neat libraries that are in Illinois Heartland Library System. I mean, I think this is a great way to get to know your neighbors. So that's going to be happening.
Susan?
Yes.
Hey, this is Sarah. I just have a question.
Hi, Sarah.
Is that something you're going to put on the IHLS Facebook page too, or will it just be on Moving Forward South?
I feel like we should put it both places. Any place that we can, I think it needs to be, because that will drive people going to our Facebook page. It will drive people going to our website. It's kind of a fun thing to learn about your neighbors. Does that?
Yeah, I just wondered, and because we have a link to your website on ours, and so that your Facebook, you know.
Okay, oh, that'd be cool. Yeah, thanks. That's a great idea. You know, I think the more that we share that out, the better it is. And as libraries, you could even highlight that too, so patrons learn about what neat things libraries are doing. I feel as though that brings up another question, which we'll discuss internally, I guess, as to who can do the guessing. Can it be just librarians, or can it be patrons too? I don't know. You bring up wonderful things, Sarah. We will. And she's like, no. Okay. We'll table that for later. If you have a strong opinion, email me, spalmer@illinoisheartland.org. Either way, I love input. And we also are doing the smart delivery, which is shared materials are received timely. That's that functional 5-day-a-week service. We had LASA create a study, or they did a study for us and gave us routes, which we have now implemented. So that part of that is done, so that we have access to these libraries, all libraries, every day, basically. We will have more information coming out exactly how this is to work. Currently, we moved 4-day-a-week libraries to 5-day-a-week. And basically everyone else is kind of on van on demand. However, you still have your, if you were a 2-day-a-week library, say Tuesday, Thursday, you automatically get delivery there. Where we are looking at cost savings is that for those 2-day-a-week libraries, there's times that we're stopping and there's nothing there. So we're looking at a kind of a, everybody would be kind of on an on-call with that. I'm not sure of all the details yet. However, watch for more information on that. Currently, you'll get your 2 or 3 days a week delivery, even if you have nothing, but we would appreciate it if you wouldn't mind letting us know when you don't have anything, because then we won't stop. That's how we're going to get that cost savings, so that we're giving more delivery service to everyone quicker, so that people are receiving their items a lot faster. So far, we've had some positive feedback. Patrons are even noticing, so that's huge, you know, that they're noticing it's a quicker turnaround time. So does anyone have any questions about anything I've said? Okay, hearing none, I'm done. Thanks.
Thanks, Susan. That was really great. Thanks for everybody participating. I don't think we've done it, Connect with Leslie, in this short a time ever. And I really appreciate everybody being willing to try this new format. It's a little different seeing each other on the screen, but we can do it. And I think we'll all get more comfortable with it. And I think we'll see more of you next time. So our next Connect with Leslie will be, I'm guessing, in April. And keep in mind again that the next Members Matter meeting will be held at the on March the 7th at 10 a.m. And you'll be seeing links to sign up for that at in our Moving Forward Together newsletter. I hope you have a wonderful day. Jenna says she loves Zoom. Yeah, we do too. It's really great. We have a modified version that we use for our board meetings now. So we're still on the, we're still taking advantage of the network behind our board, you know, that we've had. And our board is gathered in, you know, the same places together. So there's an opportunity to communicate with each other. I mean, there's some community there at the different locations. But we're using Zoom, and it's a much better reception, and they're not the, it doesn't use the bandwidth. It's not requiring the bandwidth that we had. So it's a much better quality, I think, communication at our board meetings. And we can hear everything each other does, like rustling paper and coughing and everything, because we can't hear mics. So it's an open meeting. So it's a new dimension to our meetings too. But overall, it's wonderful. It's a really wonderful experience, and I'm glad to hear that you like it. Well, thank you very much. Have a lovely day. Whatever your groundhog did, I hope you're happy with it. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.